Hey, it's Andy from Fastpath. Today we're going to walk through how Fastpath Assure helps publicly traded and pre-IPO companies prepare for Sarbanes-Oxley audits in a NetSuite environment. Assure is a cloud-based security and audit platform designed for NetSuite. With an implementation time of around 2 hours, Assure makes it easy to understand who has access to NetSuite and where the segregation of duties risks are in that access. First, let's take a look at how Assure makes periodic NetSuite access reviews easy. Assure helps simplify periodic NetSuite access reviews by allowing audit teams to analyze security by role user permission. If I go to the Access Reviews place within Assure and choose User Access, I can pick a product, so in this case NetSuite. I can select an object type. For NetSuite it's a permission. I can pick a company. I could select one user, or I could select any of the permission objects within NetSuite, whether they're third-party, custom, or native to NetSuite. So I can drop down and scroll here, or I could also just type ahead. So in this case, let's say that we want to know every user in NetSuite that can maintain vendor master data. I can just type in vendors, hit submit, and what Assure is going to do is look across all the users, their role assignments, their global permissions, and bring back a list of the users that have the ability to maintain vendor master data within NetSuite. So here we can see that Homer Simpson has access to vendors. It's a permission, edit level access in the development company, and he's receiving that access via the AP clerk role as well as the bookkeeper role. From here we could export this report to PDF, we could export it to Excel. We can also sign off on the report, so we're providing evidence that the reviews are being done on a timely basis. So here I can just say approved, and then it's going to put a user timestamp on that report, and then there's a signature log within Assure that will show each time a user reviews and signs off on a report. So far we've seen how easy it is to query NetSuite security for one specific function, but most ERPs have around 30 to 50 high-risk access points. Instead of running this analysis 30 to 50 separate times, Assure allows end users to create critical access groups. A critical access group is going to allow you to build a listing of high-risk functions within NetSuite that you want to review on a periodic basis. So here I have a group called Audit. In the middle, these are all of the permissions within NetSuite, and on the right-hand side are the ones that we've picked out as high risk for our organization. So general ledger master data, customer master data, journal entries, purchase orders. So we can choose any permission and add that to the group, whether it's native, third-party, or custom NetSuite functionality. Many of the Fastpath customers will build groups based on business process area. So for finance, you would see fiscal periods, journal entries, GL master data, banking information. In purchasing, you would see vendors and purchase orders, receivings, and so on. And then what you would do is task the business process owner with reviewing security for his or her group. So for finance, you would task the controller with reviewing security for that area on a monthly, quarterly, annual basis. So Fastpath's team of auditors has developed template groups, and then you can customize any group to meet your own risk profile for your company. Once we've built those groups, we can go to the critical access place within Assure. We can pick the product. Again, here we'll pick NetSuite. We can pick a group, so we'll pick Audit from the drop down. The company, again, you can limit that to a specific company. We want all objects in our critical access group, and we want that across all users. So now I hit submit, and it brings us back a listing of any user that has access to any of those permissions and what we've identified as high risk within NetSuite. So this is the functionality that most Fastpath customers use to do their access certifications and their access reviews. And again, like the user access, if I select Homer here, it will say that he has access to customers, and then it will tell us the role that is giving him access to that permission, or if Homer is gaining that access through a global permission. Assure also automates segregation of duties analysis in NetSuite. There are three key questions that need to be answered in any SOD review. What are your rules? Where are your risks? And finally, what are you doing about those risks? Let's take a look at how Assure helps address those questions. For the first question, what are your rules? Fastpath Assure comes delivered with an SOD rule set. The Fastpath team of certified internal auditors built a standard set of SOD policies and then mapped those policies to NetSuite functionality. So if I go to Reports, Conflict Listing, this is the rule set that comes out of the box with Assure for NetSuite. So if I read across here, it'll say maintain a vendor master data and create a purchase order for that vendor. It's NetSuite vendor permission and the NetSuite purchase order permission. It's a high level risk and there's a default mitigation. There are about 120 rules that come out of the box, and the rule set is completely customizable by every company to account for custom NetSuite functionality and each individual company's risk profile. So now that we have the rule set, the next thing we need to do is analyze the user access for risks. So if I go to user conflicts, what we're doing here is we're going to build what we call a user's effective access. So looking across all the roles that have been assigned to Homer, all of Homer Simpson's global permissions, and then we're going to take that effective access, compare it to the rule set, and then determine where the violations are against that rule set. So all of this is a detective control, meaning we're not blocking Homer from performing any functionality within NetSuite. We're just identifying that the risk exists in the access for NetSuite. So if I read down here, Homer has access to vendors and purchase orders. It's a high-level risk, the description of the risk, the company where the risk exists, and then over here on the right, again, it will show us the roles that are giving Homer the access to the conflicting permissions. So at this time, all we've done so far is recognize that risk exists. Now we need to answer that third question. What are we doing about that risk? So in Assure, I can drill back on the status field, and it will open up the mitigate window. And this window allows us to document the compensating control for that risk. So at the top, it's just going to restate the user conflict, and then down below I can select a mitigation or resolution code. These are some sample mitigations out of the box, completely customizable by every company. So here I've said that we do review and approve, the status is proposed, and the note here is all purchase orders are approved via a workflow process. So at this point I can mitigate the conflict. I can also go out and see how I've mitigated this in the past for other users. So security is a very fluid thing. As your company grows, you add new users, they change roles, but your controls or mitigations are very static. So similar mitigations allow you to assign mitigations you've used in previous quarter or previous year's reviews against those new users. So the first time you go through an SOD analysis, there is some heavy lifting in doing that documentation, but this similar mitigations functionality within Assure is going to allow you to reuse that documentation that you've initially put into the system and therefore expedite each analysis and each audit period. So all I'd have to do here is say if we wanted Homer to be mitigated just like one of the Orlando, I could just pick that, hit mitigate conflict, and it would roll that down to the end user as well. You can also view a history, so it will show you an audit trail as people have approved or entered new mitigations to that specific conflict. So at this point now we've answered the question of what are our rules, we've found out where our risks are, and then we've also assigned a mitigation. What are we doing about it? There's a report within Assure. If I go back to the reports, the conflict status report, and what this will show us is everything in one place. The company, the user, the two conflicting access points, the description, the status, the mitigation, the last user to make the change, and the date that that change was made. One final feature for any of the reports that are in Assure is you can schedule those reports. So if this conflict status report should be reviewed on the first of every month, I can schedule that report. So this is a conflict status report, and it's conflict status, and I want to save that report, and then I want to schedule that report to be delivered. So here, the conflict status report, I can select either a PDF or an Excel sheet. I want a PDF. I can select recipient, so I want to send that to Liz and to Zach. And then I can also say I want that to be sent out on the 1st of every month, and I can select a start date. So on April 1st, it's going to set that up. And now on the 1st of every month, Zach and Liz will receive that email with a PDF attached to it. So any of the reports we've seen can be scheduled. So it makes it very easy to get the right information to the right users at the right time to do reviews and then provide the evidence that those reviews have been completed. Thanks for taking the time to learn more about Fastpath Assure for NetSuite. For more information or to schedule a demo of all the advanced features, please visit our website at www.gofastpath.com.